Hey guys, Thogden here, and welcome back to another weekend. It's game week 32, Premier League predictions, European spots are still up for grabs, and we've got Thogden.
Hello, and by the time we film this, the stock market will have crashed because Trump will have done something stupid. But it's football today, isn't it?
It's football. We've got to focus on something that is a little less fluctuant. Maybe Trump is the first thing as fluctuant as the Premier League table. And this week, it could all change round with another top 5 coefficient. We now have another Champions League spot, which is great for, well, teams like Newcastle, Manchester City, fighting to play in the most prestigious club tournament in the world. Champions League predictions? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If we get 3,000 likes, we'll do it.
And well, no, before that, Theo, last week you got a reasonable 11 points. Now, normally that would win, but I got 13 points.
Wow. As I said, if you're tipping and you're listening to us, you're winning. That's all I'm saying. Right, what's the first game?
And the first game is Manchester City against Crystal Palace. It's 6th against 11th. It is the team with the best form in the league against Manchester City, Theo.
Do you know? Oh, really? Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
I thought
13
Liverpool.
points in 5.
What?
No, because they lost again. They got 12 points in 5 games.
Wow, Palace. They're unreal, even against their
Don't
rivals.
ever question my stats there.
Jean-Philippe Mateta, the goal scorer. I just come back from France. Met a lot of Jean-Philippes, but Mateta is the one who bags the goals. He's crazy. He is the threat. And also, this is a bit of a bogey fixture for Man City. Every time they seem to mess it up at Crystal Palace.
Well, the thing about Crystal Palace, look at their form this season, Theo. They've only conceded 12 goals away from home. That is the best defensive record away in the league.
You know, it's weird. 8th is now a European spot, so Crystal Palace have something to push for. But with 5th being a Champions League spot, City will want that. They can get it. In a bad season, they can pluck it all out. And by the way, full strength next year with a few signings, they're back in the race for the Champions League. So it all depends on Pep Guardiola as well. But if you look at the recent form, 1 win and 4 league games, it's hard to back them to win.
It is, Theo. Now, this is all about Europe, isn't it? Now, it's almost like Man City don't want that European place, isn't it? I mean, they just can't get any sort of form together.
I don't think City season ticket holders really deserve the price that they pay when they turn up every week and they get a different 11 that one week is incredible, looks like the future Marmouche running the show, and then the next, they're just leaking things at the back. They still miss key members of the squad. I mean, of course, Haaland's out and Rodri. So, yeah, for all that reasons and more, I'm just going to have to back Crystal Palace to come away with a draw here.
Wow.
If you look at the fixtures head-to-head, they come away with something. You know, it's very easy to all go, oh, yeah, City going to win. No, I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Mateta to score as well.
Very brave. That is a differential. I'm going to go for City 2, Crystal Palace 1. It's going to be close. Southampton against Aston Villa now is 20th against 7th. It is the first team to be relegated from the Premier League officially this season against Champions League contenders. Now, Theo, you were in Paris to watch Aston Villa yesterday.
Wow.
I would rather get the views of Prince William because he knows more about football than you, it seems.
He does.
But
he actually does. No, I will be honest.
Amazing.
He knows most football than most people. He watches that game and adores Aston Villa and England national team, of course. And in my row was Thomas Tuchel. The row behind was Prince George and Prince William. I was ready to say, oh, Your Royal Highness, thank you for just liking football because it brings the nation together. He's the future king. I'm proud of it. And I hope he's doing more punditry jobs because genuinely he is so good at it. Talking Aston Villa, they've got to win this game.
Yes.
Southampton away. They will be a little bit disappointed they have to go all the way to the St. Mary's when most of the players' minds will be on that second leg against PSG. A 2-goal difference. They're going to rotate. Unai Emery will mainly focus on the Champions League because, look, they won that competition before. They believe with the squad that they can do it. Can they come back against a strong PSG side?
No, they can't, Theo. I watched that game. It was fabulous to watch it.
Focus on the Prem then?
I've never seen anything so one-sided. And suddenly Villa score. The Princes are going mad. Kvara was sensational.
What was weird is
Doué was brilliant.
Prince William was a couple like royal friends on the Eurostar back. I've seen them on the BBC articles, and all of a sudden they're next to me on the Eurostar. I thought it'd be on the return leg. Listen, it's a crazy world we live in where we're watching Aston Villa in the Champions League, and I have memories of watching them in the Championship, Bolton Wanderers, with a very different Aston Villa lineup, shall we say. Steve Bruce to Unai Emery.
Do you know what? Just a word about Southampton, relegated after 31 weeks. Psychologically, does that change things? Do they, in a weird way, suddenly feel liberated and just go out and get a few points?
Well, they've got a lot of players there. They'll be looking for new clubs. They'll want to shine and show teams that they can actually play football. They're going to be selling Dibbling as well, who's obviously going to go for a lot of money. He's going to want to show everybody what he can do for the rest of the year for the just abnormal price tag they put on him. But having said all that, I still think Villa have the squad depth and rotation ability to come away with a 1-0, a cagey game, but a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers has been brilliant recently. He scored in the last Premier League game. So did Donny Marlon.
Yeah.
I think they
And
win
Champions
this
League
one.
game.
That is true there. This is going to be Southampton 1, Villa 2.
And Asensio came off the bench against PSG, looked good.
Yes.
He's been brilliant off the bench, but maybe this is the sort of game you start him.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the only fully rested players and ready to go. You've got Onana off the bench, Ian Maatson. There's so much quality there.
Nottingham Forest against Everton is 3rd against 15th. It's the Champions League wannabes against the draw specialists of the league, Theo. Now, Nottingham Forest, I think they've got 4 clean sheets in 4 home games. Can they make it 5?
That's unbelievable.
It's good, that, isn't it?
They keep silencing the haters, don't they? Yeah. Forest are going to be playing Champions League football, not wannabe. You called it wannabe. It'll be reality in a few weeks. And we're sooner, well, especially now with the top 5 go to Champions League, it's that one step sooner. Who will end up? Who knows where they'll end up? Will it be 2nd all the way down to 5th? Incredible from Forest and Marinakis and Nuno Espirito Santo. The whole team is so strong that you have to favour them in a game like this at home to Everton. Especially, I know, Everton have done a good job. I wouldn't back David Moyes in a fixture like this.
Do you know what? He's got a really poor record as a manager against top 3 sides. I think he's won 1 out of 36. Now, Forest, of course, lost to Villa, but that was at Villa Park last week.
It was, yeah. But Langer's been good. He was the one that scored it against United. And last week, you mentioned, it was actually Jota Silva off the bench. I think he scored 3 goals now off the bench from his last 4 appearances. So, a bit of a super sub. Maybe he deserves a start, but that shows you the depth. Everton, they're 15 points above relegation, 17 points from the top 6. There's not much to play for here. Forest have something. I'm going to back them to win this game 1-0. Again, back-to-back 1-0.
And I'm going to agree with you. It's going to be another clean sheet for Nottingham Forest. 1-0. Brighton and Hove Albion against Leicester City is 9th against 19th. And the Seagulls, surely they win this one against a poor Leicester side. But 1 point in 3 games. M23 derby against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace down to 9 men. Brighton couldn't do it, could they?
Both these 2 clubs wants this season over ASAP. I was looking at the head-to-head form, just recent form of both clubs. It's Brighton are very poor, lost their recent rivalry, which I backed them. I thought they'd turn around form. I thought there'd be anger, in the system, but there isn't. They went and got beaten. I just don't know what to say anymore. Van Hecke suspended from that game as well, so not a great bit of temperament within the squad. What do you reckon? Someone has to win.
Well, how good is your maths here? Can you add up all the goals that Leicester have scored in the last 8 Premier League games?
0, isn't it? Didn't they set a record?
0. Absolutely 0. I mean, it's the only team Leicester can beat is Spurs these days.
It's
true.
Brilliant.
They beat them at White Hart Lane.
Tough time.
And like in the last bunch of games, they're just not scoring. I mean, they're just getting battered. I was with a Leicester fan down Mayfair the other day, and he just said, "We're rubbish. We deserve to be where we are."
Fair.
No complaints whatsoever.
Well, it's not much better at Brighton because their back-to-back Premier League defeats has massively affected their European position potentially in the future. But I think this is the sort of game where they just will beat them. They're better than them. They are. Brighton have so much quality. Someone like Minter or Mitoma will just click into gear. They're going to win this 2-0.
And I agree with you, 2-0. Arsenal against Brentford, 2nd against 12th, is a tasty London derby. And let's talk about Arsenal there, because last week in the Premier League, failed to win. They could have drawn closer to Liverpool, but midweek.
Oh my God.
Declan Rice, Real Madrid. Talk to me about
Let's
it.
be honest, the Premier League is done now.
Yeah,
we know that Arsenal can't reach it. They focused on the Champions League. It was 0 at half-time, but Arsenal were dominating. The stats started to look in their favour, and then boom, the goals were unleashed, mainly by Declan Rice from a dead ball. Sometimes it had to be a moment like that against the top teams like Real Madrid, but I was gobsmacked watching it on TV. I've never had a match that I've enjoyed watching more for a while, just in awe of the way he put both those free kicks away. I must admit, I will talk about this on the podcast. Make sure you subscribe for the podcast as well. We post the full episodes on Thogden too, but Billy Wingrove once told me the techiest ball he ever filmed with. And we got to remember, for F2, he filmed with legends, Roberto Carlos from a dead ball. He filmed with Pirlo, but he said the best was Declan Rice.
Really?
And he hadn't scored a free kick before that game in the Champions League. Yet I knew about his ability to do it all.
I mean, do you know what? We've seen Declan Rice's career develop.
Yeah.
And he's one of those players that gets that little bit better every year. A little bit better, a little bit better. Some players, the Rooneys, they're brilliant at age 19. They just come off a bit later on.
And as Prince William said on TNT Sport, and Tuchel was in our row, so I know he heard this, get him on dead balls in the England squad.
Yes,
if you can score it like that, it's in you somewhere. I don't care if you've not done it that much. I see it in you. We've all seen it in the main stage. That's what Prince William's talking about. I wish he was our gaffer, to be honest. No, Tuchel, I'm actually believing in. And I told him at the game, you're going to see a video on the main channel very soon. I shook his hand and I said, bring it home.
Yes.
I said that to Tuchel. I shook his hand, I said, you're the England manager. He smiled at me and I went, bring it home.
Really?
And he walked off. Be careful if you're betting on this game. It could be a potential banana skin. Brentford have got 4 away wins in the last 5 and they're focused on this match. Arsenal think about Real Madrid next week. They're going to rotate. I would go with the 1-1 draw.
Do you know what? Brentford got a good point against Chelsea the other day and their away form has gone from terrible to really very good, hasn't it, this
Players
season?
like Saka will be rested for Real Madrid. They've come back from injury. They're not going to risk it in this game. They need it for the Bernabeu. Declan Rice, need him for the Bernabeu. You know, I don't know who they'll end up playing because they do have a very thin squad already, Arsenal. We saw how many defenders were getting injured during that Real Madrid game constantly. So I think Brentford come away with a point here.
Do you know, you could be right, but I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. Chelsea against Ipswich Town, 4th against 18th. It's David versus Goliath. In fact, Goliath versus David at Stamford Bridge, isn't it, Theo?
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
But the thing about Ipswich, Theo, they had to win that game against Wolves. Liam Delap got that early goal. By the way, what a season he's had. 12 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah, amazing season. I reckon a big club will be
Well, this is it. I think he's got a contract till 2029, but someone's going to knock on the door, aren't they?
Well, Man City probably have a buyback clause, right?
Ooh, that is a very big shout.
He kicks the ball in the net like his dad used to throw the ball at the net to Ricardo Fuller. Anyway, we're talking about Chelsea here, not Ricardo Fuller, Jadon Sancho, and the rest of the lads who will be returning from a busy Legia Warsaw, an important fixture if they want to win the Conference League. Won't be easy out there, the Polish players, they're strong, they'll make it hard, they'll work, especially for that first 90, obviously 2 legs. So, look, I think Chelsea will win this game. They have a big squad. They can rotate, and I believe they'll still get the job done. I don't think it'll be a cricket score. I think they'll just get the revenge for the first leg and get a 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. And Maresca will continue what has been, I think, just 1 loss in his last 10 Stamford Bridge fixtures, so it's not terrible.
And I'm just going to agree with you, 2-0 to the Chelsea. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Tottenham Hotspur, 17th against 14th. Unbelievably, both of these teams won last week, Theo. And Wolves, we've already talked about that, against Ipswich, 1-0 down, came back. I'd say the man of the match for me was Pablo Sarabia, Theo. He got a goal and an assist, came off the bench, changed the game. He's had a wonderful season.
Sort of player that Tottenham could do with. Because right now, I just don't know how to predict Spurs. Away from home, they've lost 5 from their last 6 games.
Yes.
They're nearer to the relegation zone than the title. I mean, it's one to forget, and it's probably a matter of days between now and when Ange gets sacked.
Yes.
So, could this be the tipping point if Wolves win? That's the question. It depends on European positions, but I think maybe. I'm actually going to go and say that Wolves are the favourites in this game.
Wow.
At home, off the back of a big away win versus Ipswich, a 6-pointer fixture, which they did very well. They've got a striker who's probably the best striker on the pitch right now, Strand Larsen.
Yes.
He's an absolute goal scorer. We saw bits of him from the start of the season. We kept an eye on him, and now he is doing it every game. You give him 90 minutes, he will find the net. Yeah, it's just one of those matches where Vitor Pereira, you've got to give him credit. 3 wins in a row. I'll back him again. Wolves 2, Tottenham 1.
All things considered, Theo, Wolves have won the last 3. They're going to make it 4. Wolves to win 2-1.
We agree.
Liverpool against West Ham United is first against 16th. Should be an easy win for Liverpool, but they messed up against Fulham, didn't they, Theo? Defensively, Andy Robertson and co.
Well, it's weird for Arne Slot's boys right now. 3 from 4 losses. They don't know, Trent's out the team. They don't know if they're keeping Van Dijk. Looks like he might be going to Paris. And after just coming back from there, I don't blame him. PSG have a real vision. And I'm not sure Slot has a vision bigger than Klopp, or at least maybe some of the players don't like him as much, or they wouldn't be worrying about leaving. But Mo Salah, contract extension, that's massive, isn't it?
That is absolutely huge.
But he's getting on though. You can't rely on him. The team around him's getting worse. Will his stats perform as much with Trent not behind him? Okay, Conor Bradley, I really like him, but will he ever be the Trent Alexander-Arnold level? Different kind of play. He's not as creative. He's hard-working, but won't create for Salah as much.
I think Conor Bradley is a wonderful player who loves to get forward. Yes. And
Trent's the best right in the world.
There are very few people who are Trent level. Mo Salah has been sensational for many, many years. And who knows, maybe he can do the same thing next season. Probably the most impactful player this season in Europe. 27 goals in the Premier League? So, look, we know Liverpool have won the league. They should win this one. West Ham, of the 7 London teams, are ranked 7th here. I mean, that's not good, is it?
That's crazy.
If you're a West Ham fan, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, Graham Potter, I don't really know what he's doing here. I still think, I favour Liverpool at home at Anfield. Szoboszlai is probably still mad about his statue on April Fools, but he could be a threat in this game. And I'm going to back them to win 2-0.
And I'm going to go 2-0. I can't believe we never look at each other's notes.
Yeah.
We're saying the same score again and again.
I actually did not look at
Newcastle United against Manchester United, 5th against 13th. 2 of the best supported teams in the country, in Europe, meet at St James's Park. Now, Newcastle first, Theo, won 4 of the last 5.
Absolutely.
And I want to talk about a man called Jacob Murphy.
Okay.
He's 30 years old. He's got 9 goals this season. He's got 7 assists. He's having the season of his life. And did you see that goal when Shah tried a David Beckham from the halfway line, hits the bar, Jacob Murphy's there, bang.
Brilliant.
Absolutely
It's
brilliant.
all about supporting your teammates, isn't it? Newcastle have been incredible. The last 4 games, they've won them all, scoring 8, conceding 2. They've got a system under Eddie Howe. It is brilliant. Similar to the Manchester City derby. I just think United will come away with something. I have a weird feeling in this game that they're going to unload. I don't know what it is. And Geordie's, they're fighting out the 5th spot with City for sure. They've already got a cup trophy as well. And look, head to head, the Toon have won this game 4 of the last 5 times, which is amazing. But I have a weird feeling that it won't go the way that it usually does. And I'm going to go, and maybe you guys will agree with me, United, they've got good players, and people forget that.
They haven't got good players.
They have got good players.
They haven't got good players.
Maybe a Maguire header,
They've got,
something like that.
They've got a player called Bruno Fernandes, who's wonderful.
Can create that as well.
Apart from that, they've got mediocre players.
They do have mediocre players.
This is the thing about Manchester United, and they're going to miss out on Europe, aren't they?
But
if they win the Europa League, do they get into Europe?
If they're so crap, they wouldn't hold Man City for 90 minutes. I know Man City are not great either right now, but I don't know, and I could be silly for saying this, and you could go and predict Newcastle to win every week, but this game will be a 1-1 draw.
I think this will be low scoring. There's going to be 1 goal in it. Newcastle 1, Man United 0. AFC Bournemouth against Fulham Football Club is 10th against 8th. It's a mid-table clash on the south coast. Now, Bournemouth recently have got the 3rd worst form in the league. Only Southampton and Leicester have got worse form over 5 games.
Wow, there you go. Cherries are in freefall, as you mentioned. They're a shadow of the team they were in the season, and it's sad to see. Maybe they're just ready for it to all be done. And Bournemouth playing Fulham, it's an interesting fixture because 6 of the last 7 head-to-heads have had both teams to score, so they usually go for it. Right. Maybe it'll be a bit different at this point in the season. But Ryan Sessegnon's back in the Fulham team. Yeah. I have to mention him because it's like a new signing. He's come back. I think he's mostly been off the bench, but when he starts, he scores. I think in the last 3 starting fixtures, he's got a goal in every single one of them.
Yeah.
And off the bench, he got an assist too. So maybe he's the one to make a difference here. But the Whites have just beaten Liverpool. I'm confident. They're confident. They're going to be travelling down to the south coast, believing they can win, and they'll get the job done 0-1. Ryan Sessegnon.
Do you not think that Evan Nielsen will continue that scoring record? He got 2 in the last game. Surely he gets 1 here.
But they've not been good enough, Dad.
They haven't. I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw here. I mean, this is a Monday night game, and back in the day, who'd have watched Bournemouth and Fulham? But I'm going to watch this game on the telly box. And finally, the bonus game.
The bonus game.
Newcastle United against Crystal
free
Palace.
Content here. Extra content.
What
Brilliant.
is going to happen here midweek?
I didn't back Newcastle against United because I was a bit nuts, but this time I absolutely will. I know Palace are the form side, and that's silly of me to say that they're going to draw to United, but beat Crystal Palace, well, I'm going for it. It's the bonus game. It's the added game. It's the one. It's a long way to go midweek, isn't it?
It is.
And I think the Geordies, this has got a low score. I would go under 1.5 goals in this match. And I am backing that as well. It could go 1-0. It could be either way. Palace could win this game. It could be a 0-0. But I'm going to go 1 to the good, to the home side, to the Geordies, the Toon. And it'll probably be Isaac. Yeah. You mentioned Murphy.
Yes.
Let's respect Isaac.
Do you know what?
Or Harvey Barnes, he's scoring again.
I said earlier, Crystal Palace have got the best form in the league, and suddenly I'm predicting 2 defeats to Crystal Palace. 1-0 to the Geordies.
That's it. Thank you for watching this video. Game week 32 continues. Champions League predictions? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If we get 3,000 likes, we'll do it.
And I'm going to go off and see what crazy things Donald Trump has done.